Sean is next up. He asked, am I crazy to think Bama might not be a playoff caliber team next year? Sean, I wouldn't call you crazy. I would disagree with you, but I wouldn't call you crazy. Their over-under win total is 10, and while that's really high, that's as low as it's been for Bama in a while. You're coming off a year where they looked vulnerable, right? But then what is vulnerable? They lost 2 games on the last play of the game, or they would have been undefeated in the regular season, and we would have had Bama versus Georgia in Atlanta. As I say that, it kind of boggles the mind to think about that. So we're coming into this year, and I talked to you about this the other night on Late Kick Live, and I'm going to reiterate it. There's no N there. You can think that if you want to. It is your constitutional right to doubt Alabama. It is my constitutional duty to inform you, out of the 6 highest rated recruiting classes in all of history, 3 of them are on Bama's campus right now. Do you hear what I just said? Not Bama history. Out of the 6 highest rated recruiting classes in 24/7 sports history, 3 of them, 2023, 2021, and 2022 Bama, are on campus in Tuscaloosa right now. Certainly, maybe there have been pieces that have transferred or pieces that have not worked out, but by and large, the core of those classes are on campus. Alabama is so loaded. The only reason that people are talking about them in such impoverished terms is because you're not grading Alabama against the standard of the other teams in the country. You're thinking to yourself, I don't know if 2023 Alabama measures up to 2020 Alabama, 2017 Alabama. Well, that's not who they'll play this year. That's not who would keep them out of the playoff. Ohio State or Georgia or Florida State or USC, these are the teams that would keep them out of the playoffs, presumably. So let's look at it. I asked you the other night. I'll ask you again. Is Michigan definitively better than Bama, Penn State, Ohio State, Georgia? I don't know because I've never seen Carson Beck start a game. I don't know who's starting at quarterback for Ohio State. We've never seen Drew Aller start a game. We haven't seen USC play competent enough defense. So quickly, have I listed 4 teams that you are sure are going to be better than Bama this year? I can't find 4 that I'm sure will be better. Now, I could paint you a path where they don't make it. It didn't happen last year. I thought they were the best team in the country last year going into the season. So it's not like it's foolproof or anything like that. But yeah, I would be very careful doubting them. Now, the one thing they have that flies in the face of the dumbest argument on Twitter is they have a tough schedule. And they most of the time do have a tough schedule. And Twitter would convince you, oh, Bama doesn't play anyone. Like, you're just wrong. It's not even opinion. You're just wrong. The sky is purple. No, it's not. Well, that's your opinion, bro. No, it's blue. I can assure you it's blue. They play Texas in week 2. They got Ole Miss at home. They got back-to-backs on the road, Mississippi State and then at A&M. They play Arkansas and Tennessee back-to-back then before the bye week, and after the bye, LSU comes to town before they finish up with road games at Kentucky and at Auburn. It's a tough schedule. You may listen to that and say, oh, Auburn's not going to be good this year. You try being a rival of Auburn and playing in Jordan-Hare Stadium. When do they ever get blown out in that spot? It far more likely is they'll be a double-digit underdog and take you to the wire. So Bama's got a tough schedule, yet they still have the second-best odds to win the national championship this year. So remember what I just said. Bama's got 3 of the highest-rated recruiting classes in history on campus right now. They've got the second-best odds in the country to win the national championship, but we've got folks out there doubting them. Here's the reality. The reality is, if I took Alabama's roster and I put Florida State uniforms on them, they would be the popular pick to win the national championship coast to coast. And the reason is because your mind would work differently. If it were Florida State, you would accurately judge the roster just on how it compares to the rest of the country. But when it's Bama, you mistakenly start to compare it to past Bama teams. And if it doesn't measure up to past Bama teams, you think, uh-oh, weakness, uh-oh, wobbly tire. Not necessarily. Not necessarily.